So the solstice was yesterday, so we're of course won't notice the coming of the light for a while yet, but it's a mental thing that where we can really wrap our heads around the fact that we the sun has turned, that we are now growing in light instead of diminishing in light. And for some people, that's very heartening. There's a mental health aspect of light that can be very helpful. And we're so lucky here in Colorado. We have so much sunshine that it probably impacts us, that seasonal affect stuff impacts us perhaps less than others, especially with the amount of warmth that we've been having this year. So perhaps the need, the kind of like physical, emotional, mental need is a little less than it could be if we were in a really dark place or a really cold place. But regardless of that, there's an energy to this time of year, and it's interesting to me that Christmas time often gets very busy for people. It can have a frantic nature, frenetic nature to it. This time of year for a lot of people, and really, truly, that is in opposition to what the season really is calling for from an earth-based practice. So really, when we come toward the solstice, the winter solstice, what we're being asked to do is to go inward, to find stillness, and to seek the inner space, and connect with your inner self. Stillness, like if you think about the quiet and the stillness of a meadow, in the woods of snow, that kind of energy is really what the solstice energy is about. Honoring the darkness and honoring that calm, centered, quiet place. So in yoga, the not only pratyahara, where we kind of not take away, but pull away from the sensorial world a little bit. The excess of the sensorial world is a really important practice this time of year, as is svadhyaya, which is the study of the self. So giving yourself time for introspection is quite important. Um, so maybe, you have intentions, maybe this is a time of year where you have blessings or wishes or intentions, hopes, sense of renewal and growth that you want for yourself or for the world. So as we begin our practice, we'll light a candle, and we're going to start with some pranayama, and we're going to move for sure, but we're also toward the end going to find some stillness in our postures and move toward a meditation so that we have this kind of slow inward practice today, which is really self nurturing. Okay, so if you have a candle, let's go ahead and light a candle. And no worries if you don't. There can be there's so many things that you could put your focus and attention on. It doesn't have to be candle flame, but candle flame is a beautiful one. So, if you have some light, start your practice with your eyes open. So often we kind of close our eyes and begin on the inside. So we're going to start with some candle gazing. And if you don't have a candle, no worries. Then maybe you can look inward or just find a focal point to gaze at. So eyes open or eyes shut, whatever you're choosing. We'll take a moment to gaze at your candle flame and soften your eyes. So pratyahara doesn't have to mean wrapping an ace bandage around your eyes and ears in our yoga practice. It can be honing the soft drishti, the soft gaze towards something. Okay, so as you gaze toward candlelight or anything that you're looking at, and it could be inside your own, behind your own eyes. Let's just have a moment to quiet the breath and the mind. Okay, so by quieting the breath, I don't mean shortening the breath, but just trying to find a calmness of breathing. Very beautiful thing about flame is that it's living. there's movement, there's energy, and there's light. So bring yourself in connection and begin to focus on the sound of your breath. So we'll begin with some ujjayi breathing. Okay, just very simply a long, steady inhale and a long, steady exhale. Oftentimes we try to, mirror or match inhale and exhale. If that naturally happens, great. If your exhale's a little longer, great. Don't worry or focus too much on that, but just on the beautiful, slow, steady pace of your breath. And if you feel the need to close your eyes because that's what's helping you go inward, close your eyes. There's no requirement to gaze at the candle. And hopefully, your candle's in a safe place that at any point through your practice that you want to touch your gaze upon it for remembrance of turning inward, you can do that. Cultivating presence. When you feel ready, we're going to pause just ever so slightly at the bottom of your exhale. So just so subtle. Don't overwhelm yourself by this gap. Okay, but there's silence here. There's stillness here that is unique in its own special way. If you're making a choice of when to start the inhale, do not overwhelm yourself. So you don't want to have a feeling of panic in your body, like I need the next breath, but you want a slight craving or a hunger, just a teeniest bit of hunger for the breath, not a lot. Enough so that when you start that next inhale, it's a savoring, it's a gratitude, it's a feeling of, oh, I'm blessed to be able to inhale. Right, so hopefully those breath patterns have helped to center you and bring your mind and body into just a bit more stillness. So bring your hands together and with eyes open or closed, offer an intention. And this is slightly more than just our daily intentions of beginning our practice and what our practice can help us with, but rather an intention for growing the light. So, what is it that you're trying to renew, to grow? How can your sense of peace and ease expand? Maybe it's something very specific that you want to intend for yourself and the world. Whatever those intentions, those blessings are, just offer now. Release the hands. And let's come onto our back. All right, so as you stretch out and lengthen on the ground, make sure if you're using a candle that your candle's in a safe place, that you're not going to knock it over or disturb the flame. And then we'll stretch our arms overhead. Find a good reaching in the body. Stretching the right side, stretching the left side, and just enjoying what it feels like to become a bit embodied here. And then draw the knees into the chest and rock a little bit, swaying from side to side. And then we'll hang on to the knees and circle, kind of rolling your knees one direction. And then we'll roll the knees another direction. And melt through your head. So if this is a season for really having the sense of inward space and stillness and calmness, how can just every moment on your mat kind of cultivate a little bit of this self-nurturance? So let your practice have the gift of the season around it. Can you feel, the sense of ease coming into your body? Let your head rest. Right knee into your chest, left leg long on the ground, and let's move our ankles, roll around through your feet, wiggle your toes, keep a sense of surrender through your relaxing your head and your neck and your shoulders. And then we'll cross the right knee over to the left and stretch open big to a twist. Let your chest expand. Feel free to turn your head. Feel free to move around in your arm or to kind of rock in the twist. Anything that really serves and feels good in your body. And then coming back to center, bring that knee in one more time, and then we'll switch. Left knee in, right leg long on the ground, and move around in your ankles, wiggling through your toes, keeping your head resting, your shoulders relaxed. A good snug squeeze of your knee into your chest. And then we'll cross the left knee over to the right and find that openness of the twist on this side. Turn your head, slide your arm around if you'd like, or maybe stillness feels better. Feel free to have a teeny bit of rocking or moving in this pose. All right, and then we'll stretch open to a star, reaching your limbs really wide. Let's roll your wrists and your feet now so you feel the edges of your body, a big expansive stretch. And then when your exhale comes, draw your knees into your chest. Again, expanding open, let your joints spread open. And as you exhale, let a lot of those joints compress in. One more time. Big and open and wide. Exhale, small and snug. Okay, put your feet on the ground. Let's roll to your side and come up to your hands and your knees. As you find your way onto all fours, see what it feels like to know the ground. So also a part of this solstice, turning of the light energy is knowing your groundedness. So can you feel the hands and the knees and maybe rock into your right side a little bit and then rock into your left and feel that sensing of yield and then push off and transfer weight to the other side and yield. And make sure you're breathing. Pay attention to whether you yield better in your left or your right. Do you have a tendency for weight bearing? And then as you're ready, find all four contacts, your knees and your hands. And we'll start to find our way through cat-cows. Try to be intentional about your awareness of self. The more present we are, the better we can offer ourselves to the world, to our loved ones, to anyone we meet. So start to feel your way into an arched spine and a round spine and just enjoy. See if you can just enjoy your embodiment. And then any movement that you want, you can wag through your tail, you can move through your hips, you can move through your shoulders. Take your time, feeling your way into mobilizing. And then we'll drop down, find your way into a child's pose. Walk the hands far out in front of you and soften through your skull. Relax and breathe in this posture. The pauses that you feel, can you allow stillness to be a gift? Remembering your intentions. Now we'll walk our hands over to one side so we stretch and lengthen through our side body and be present for what you're feeling. Over to the other side and feel that length and reach. Breathing deeply. And come back to center, up onto all fours, and feel free to move around. And we'll find a twist. So reach your arm up in the air, drop that shoulder down, gaze toward the floor. Let your head relax. Breathe deeply in your spine. All right, and then inhale, reach that arm back up. Place the hand down onto the ground. We'll switch sides. Dropping the shoulder, relaxing here, breathing fully. A full inhale, full exhale. All right, reach that arm back up in the air. Hand down onto the ground. Find your way to a dog and take some time to pedal your feet. As you start to feel this new posture, not only wake up through your calves, so maybe a few rounds of pedaling, and then a few rounds of yielding, just like we did on all fours. Maybe yield into the left and yield into the right, or maybe yield into your hands and then yield into your feet. So just kind of experiment to know the ground. There's a lot of grounding in yoga. There's a lot of grounding postures in yoga, and this is for sure one of them. So let's enjoy that subtle energetic shift that happens in a dog pose. And then when you're ready, we can come forward to an Uttanasana, forward fold. Relax your head, let it bobble if you'd like. Soften anything you can toward the ground, letting your spine lengthen. We'll find our way to a halfway lift, opening up through the spine here, and maybe a little pedaling of your feet in this position. So we can open up the hamstrings, open up the calves, the feet, all the way up to your sit bones. Even the swing of your hips can enliven and open some muscles in the outer hips. And then come up onto your toes, hands on blocks or legs, and then back onto your heels, lift your toes. All right, and then ground and fold forward, knees bent, push through your feet. We'll rise up, bring the arms to the sky, find that extension, open up through your heart. Let's cactus, open our chest, squeeze the back body a bit, exhale, rounding in. Again, up, back, and around. Maybe one more time. Open your shoulders up, back, and around. And then bring your hands together at your heart, and maybe your candle is within eye line. Maybe it's not. Maybe you want your eyes open, finding that drishti gaze again. Maybe you want your eyes closed. But with our hands together in Samastitihi, feel the groundedness of Tadasana. Be like the mountain, stable and steady. The breath, steady. Let's come back to that Ujjayi breath that we had in the beginning. When your next inhale arises, reach your arms, lift your heart. See if you can lift it up to the sun. Have a little gratitude for the turning of the light. And then exhale, unfold forward. Inhale for a halfway lift. Expand and open up. Exhale and melt. Again, back to a dog pose. Find your breath. Start to find the flow of your practice. Yield again. Find the grounding of this posture. When your next in-breath comes, forward into a plank. Find the grounding of this posture. Maybe yield a little bit into the left and then into the right, and just know your balance between the two. Find your core. And then we'll find the ground. Wait for your inhale. We'll rise up for a cobra. Exhale. Relaxing back down. One more time, and always you can take any variations that feel right in your body. Up you go, and down you go. And one more time. Feeling the in-breath expand you. Feeling the out-breath relax you back down. Up on tall fours. Wiggle around in your spine. Maybe wag your tail. Pretty strongly wag your tail. Maybe your feet get to move too. And then back to a child's pose. Soften up the pose a little bit so your arms don't have to stretch to their fullest place. And feel the grounding of this pose. If your forehead can rest on the ground, great. And if it can't, maybe put your head on a block. Just kind of find what works for you. And again, remembering that cultivation of presence, feeling your way into the evenness and slowness of your breath. Giving yourself an opportunity to experience stillness. And then we'll come back up onto all fours, grab some blocks. Bring your right foot forward, come to a lunge. Lift your back knee up off the ground and we'll start to move. So bending and straightening, even within movement of the body, you can find stillness of the mind. So let the rhythmic movement and the rhythmic breath be a boon to the nervous system, giving yourself that meditative state of movement. All right, ground your legs. Feel your roots rising up, crescent lunge. Arms upward to the sky, feel expansive. Again, feeling that sense of gratitude as we lift our heart space. Okay, hands come back onto blocks. Maybe bring your blocks high and walk your back foot in. So your hips are square, your legs are straight, Parsvottanasana. Let the inner thighs roll back and stretch your heart forward. Ground through your front big toe well. We'll come on up and then we're going to come back down. So rising, Bring your hands to your hips, perhaps, and open up through your heart. Try not to collapse through your low back, but extend. And then we'll come forward, reaching the heart forward. Ground, pause for a minute in your upward stance without your hands on blocks so that you feel the strength of your core and legs supporting you. Find that equal parts breath again if you can. And then we'll bring our hands to rest on the blocks, Parsvottanasana. Relax your head, let it bow. So when your head bows, try not to collapse your spine. We're still long in the spine, surrendering the head. Squaring the hips, grounding the feet. Feel the grounding of your head below your heart. And walk your back foot forward. Come to Uttanasana, and we'll find our way into a chair pose. You can touch your feet or have your feet apart, your choice. As you come into this posture, lean into your right and lean into your left, and kind of just get to know that yielding into the ground and know where your tendencies lie. Which foot do you tend to bear weight into more? Finding breath here. Maybe sink a couple few inches deeper if that feels right in your body, a deeper squat. Bring your hands down to your heart. Lift your heart to your hands. And then we'll slowly move to come up onto our toes. Focus your drishti gaze. Reaching the arms up nice and steady with your gaze. Let your attention help you in your balance. Our presence is cultivated. Bring your arms out to the sky. Keep your gaze. Open your heart. And then when you're ready, heels come down onto the ground. A forward fold. Relax your head. A halfway lift here, extending through your spine. Melt again. Step your right foot back. Left foot is in front now. Ground yourself. Feel the roots of your posture. Feel the earth. Connect in. Send your roots toward the earth. And we'll start to move with breath. Find the fluidity of your breath, the meditative quality of flow. Maybe your eyes closed to kind of find that pratyahara. Maybe your eyes softly gaze upon something steadily to create that pratyahara. When you're ready, ground your legs, push through your feet, move slowly, keep your eyes steady. Change your gaze now as you come upright. Maybe the new gaze point is on the wall or even looking up toward the ceiling, whatever feels right. Lift the heart, see if you can cultivate some gratitude, kind of feed that, nourish and renew your gratitude. And then release your hands down onto high blocks. Walk your front foot back and your back foot in a little bit so your stance is shorter. Squaring the hips. Lengthening through your spine. Finding your breath. So we're not moving yet. See if you can sense the inner spiral of the legs rolling back. Can you yield into the earth evenly through both feet? Just like we felt that grounding in our Tadasana and child's pose and dog pose, can you feel it here? Relax your head. And then push through your feet, rising up, hands onto your hips, open up through the heart again. Feeling that expansion and openness, squaring the pelvis, stretching forward, pause in a place that's self-sustaining where your hamstrings and your glutes can support you. And then we'll come a little deeper and melt the head one more time. Square hips. Long spines. Try not to let the head bow. Make your spine collapse. And take your hands down onto the ground and we'll find a dog pose. Feeling extension and length and also feeling ground. Maybe yield one more time. Practice the art of yielding. Give way to the earth. Feel yourself give way to the earth. And then the rebound that the earth gives you, something to push off of. How's the breath? Is it nice and steady and slow? Are you finding meditation in motion? On the next breath in, come forward into a plank, and then we'll find the ground. Take your arms either down at your sides or overhead and lift everything you can up off the ground. Feeling that fullness of your back body. Breathe here. And then come pushing off the ground again onto all fours. Wag your tail or move your spine in any way that serves. And then we'll have that sense of yield through the right and then yield through the left. So knowing the earth, feeling the earth below you. And then stretch back to a child's pose and know the feeling of grounding through this posture. Let your head rest. Let your eyes rest. Focus on your breath. We'll move through a dog pose again. Stretch on up, lengthen. And then walk your feet forward. Come to Uttanasana. A halfway lift, opening up through your spine. Melting here. Push through your feet, rising high. Meditation in motion. Let your breath be slow and long. Back to a Tadasana. Eyes open or eyes closed, but if your eyes are open, maybe you're gazing at your candle, maybe you're softly focusing your vision. Feel the soles of your feet. Slow and steady breath. Feel the impact of these grounding practices. Are you giving yourself the energy of the season where we get to look inward, we get to ground, feel a sense of stillness and calmness, treating our nervous system with respect and care. Release the hands and let's turn sideways on your mat and take some wide legs. First, come to a deep squat just to stretch open your inner thighs and get your legs prepared for lateral movements. Okay, so maybe a little bit of weight bearing into your right and then to your left, and notice if you have preference. And then equally ground. Feel your feet equally ground. Come all the way up to stand. Bring your hands on your legs first. Just find that wide-legged stance, wide-legged support. Deep sense of rooting into the earth. Feel your breath. And then we'll bring our arms up to a standing star. Lift your heart, soft gaze or eyes closed. Keep that sense of pratyahara. A deep breath in, and as you exhale, we'll drop down toward a goddess. So feet are turned out, knees are turned out. And inhale, arms come back up. And you do you on this. So, maybe perhaps you'd like to have some different arm positions than what I'm doing. All is well. So whatever feels right to your body. Doesn't matter how deep into the squat you go. Let it be motion, meditation in motion. Next time you get up there, spread your arms wide, turn your right foot out. We'll come into a Parsvakonasana. Open up through the side of your body, ground both legs. Feel your roots. Can you feel both a deep sense of grounding, but also a deep sense of expansion? All right, are you even through the weight of your feet? We'll come into a reverse warrior, stretch through that right side, and find warrior pose. You can always straighten your leg for a moment if that feels good to your body. Gaze out over your fingers, a drishti point, that focus right across the edges of your fingers. Relax the shoulders down, ground yourself in this posture. Even weight through your feet, evenness through your breath. Okay, come back up, a standing star one more time. Reach your heart, give your energy up and outward into the world. And then we'll turn our feet to the left. Okay, so finding a Parsvakonasana on this side. Elbow on your knee or hand on your block and stretch open. And notice, the subtlety of what you feel on this side versus the other. Grounding through both feet well. And from here, we'll reverse the warrior, stretch that arm up. And then if you'd like to straighten your leg for a moment and come back in, warrior pose. Gaze out over your fingers. Let your pratyahara soften your drishti right over your fingertips. As your eyes look that direction, let your inner eye notice your weight bearing, your groundedness, your roots. Let your inner eye notice your breath. And then come all the way back up one more time to a standing star. Adjust your feet. We'll turn our feet straight and come down into Pasrita. You can have your arms forward on the ground or blocks. You can have your hands in line with your feet. Any variation of this that is right for your body. Pasrita has a deep groundedness to it as well, so feel the contact with the earth, melt your head. All right, and then we'll turn toward the front of your mat for a dog pose, and as you come into this posture, enjoy your length. One last time through vinyasa. Inhale forward to a plank. Lower yourself down. Any variation of the back bend that serves you. Find your way back to a child's pose. Compress through the hips. Release the tension from the standing poses. Feel that deep sense of grounding. What a gift to be embodied, a gift to ourselves and a gift to everyone in our presence. The more we cultivate presence, the better we are in the world in every way. You know, the more we show up present, the more our relationships are renewed, the more just more of everything, right? We get to experience everything. Oh, we'll come back to a seated posture. So either you can sit on your heels, you can sit in Virasana, you can sit cross-legged, you can grab a block, whatever it is that you need. We're going to be here a moment. So find a grounded seated posture. And we're going to do just a handful of rounds of alternate nostril breathing. Right, so right thumb on right nostril, ring finger on left nostril, and we'll alternate sides. So starting with the left, breathing in. When you feel ready, closing the left, opening the right, breathing out. So always remembering that alternate nostril breathing, you breathe out and then back in through the same side, and then you switch to the other side. Out, in, switch. Remember, keep your head in a neutral position. We're not pushing hard on our nostrils, just gentle enough to close off. Slow the breath down and bring your awareness, your attention right to the steadiness of the inhale and the steadiness of the exhale. When you come to the next exhale through your left, we'll stop there. Unless you're like, oh, I love this, then just ignore me and keep going, okay? But when you do finish your breath, pay attention to that next breath where you have this fullness through your sinuses, the evenness between left and right. A slow breath in, a slow breath out, and a subtle little pause after the out breath. Again, you can stay in any posture that's calling to you, but if you're following me, we'll come on to our back now. Ground yourself here and bring your knees into your chest. A little rocking to and fro. And we'll take our right knee and stretch your left leg long and roll around in your ankles, wiggling through your toes. Switching sides, just releasing some tension, anything that's kind of crept into your feet, let it go with some movement. And then stretch out to a star on the ground, roll your hands and your feet. And as we come in, we'll either do a right thigh over left thigh hip stretch or a reverse pigeon pose. So right foot on left. Feel free to mobilize this stretch. You can do some circles through your hip, or maybe you hold behind your hamstring or your shin and just stay and let the stillness of the pose enter you. All right, well, release that. Put your feet on the ground, feet wide, knock your knees for a moment, put your hands on your belly and have a breath. Either cross your left thigh over your right and draw your knees in, or left foot on your right knee and come into the posture, or maybe you're holding your knee and you're kind of doing some circles. Try to find what's going to help you enter into this stretch well. And then at any point, you can choose stillness to just be in the reverse pigeon. Another great way to do this pose is to put your right foot on something so you don't have to hold on to your knee or hamstring. Find your breath one more time. All right, and then relax to come out of that pose. Put your feet on the ground. Let's shift your hips over to the right. Knees come up. Drop them left for a nice twist. And any variations here that your body likes to take is great. Start to feel the groundedness of Shavasana. It's coming, not quite yet, but it's coming. So feel the earth. And coming back to center, shift your hips the other way, knees drop over to the side and turn your head in opposition and feel free to take variations. How's the breath? How's the heaviness of your head melting? How's that sense of pratyahara? All right, coming back to center. Find a neutral posture with your feet on the ground for a moment. We're going to do Shavasana, and then when we come out of Shavasana, do a short meditation. So first, we'll just lie down and rest our body. So as you straighten your legs, make sure if you need warmth or props or anything at all, Bring yourself into some ease here. Let the focus of your Shavasana be all about surrender, this deeply held presence that you're held by the earth. And if you can, lose your fidgetiness so that you can experience a moment of stillness in your mind and your body. Imagine the quiet of a forest blanketed in snow. Feel that you are warmth within that space. You are the light and the warmth within the quietly held earth. When you feel ready, you can ignore me and just stay right there. If that's what you need, you can do this lying down. You can just quiet the body and mind in whatever position feels best to you. If you'd like to do a couple of minutes of meditation sitting, then you can sit. And like I said, you can stay lying down. If you have your candle and you want access to it, you can find it again. And again, your eyes can be opened looking at your candle, or your eyes can be closed. Keep the energy of Shavasana even if you've sat up. Feel the stillness and quiet in your body and mind. Feel the groundedness of your body connecting to the earth. And often when we start to stoke a little bit of light and we feel a deep sense of stillness, This is often a place of peacefulness. So if you have a sense of peace in you right now, even a small, small flame of it, that's what we're going to grow. So maybe put aside your internal, your private intentions for yourself of renewal and growth. And let's offer now a deep sense of peace to the world. Okay. Think less about specific areas of the world and try to encompass the whole entire world, all of humanity, all living creatures, the earth itself. Whatever peace you've cultivated within you, let's just breathe this into life, like stoking a little tiny light, letting it grow. Let your breath help you kind of stoke this little flame of peace and offer it outward to the world. Identify where this lives in your body, whether you're lying down or sitting up. Do you have a sense of peace within you somewhere? Maybe in your heart space or your hands or your head or your big toe, doesn't matter. Let that ripple outward, offering your energy to the world. Imagine peace, feel peace, sense peace. Maybe imagine the forest again, softly covered in the stillness of winter. Any imagery of quiet, peaceful stillness that you have, offer it. You feel ready, bring your hands to this mudra of centering and connection, palms together. Big breath in, big breath out. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Right. Happy holidays in all the ways that you celebrate holidays.